Well, hello, everybody. How are you? I have been reading a lot of things on the internet, so you don't have to. But every now and then, it seems like, I don't know, there must be something in the air because suddenly all over the place, people are posting some of the funniest things in very short snippets. So I said, you know, I'm gonna save these and I'm gonna do a podcast kind of reading some of them, opining upon them. You can opine also, although I won't hear you, but you can opine in the comments below or leave a message or send me a message, uh, depending on whether you're watching it on Substack or uh, Rumble or um, YouTube. Okay, let's get started. I've got them in groups. The first group, y'all remember when the 6 feet rule came into play? Well, somebody just posted something about this that was from that time that a shopkeeper, small business owner, had posted in their window. This is funny. COVID-19 facts. The virus can travel 6 feet. It cannot travel 6 feet point one or greater. It can live on all surfaces except anything that comes in the mail from Amazon. It does not live in Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, or any grocery store. It's harmless in protests, riots, and while looting. It is only deadly in bars, restaurants, small businesses, hair salons, and it cannot live on your food as long as you get it to go. That's what we all thought. We said this is a big fat scheme to control the population so that Marxists can take over. But did anybody listen to those of us who were saying it? No. And, I had people tell me, Angela, shh, don't say that out loud. You can't say that. Yes, I can. And I did. But it made a lot of people very uncomfortable. Anyway, a fella on, geez, where did I see this? I saw it on Facebook, but I think it's from a Twitter account by a guy by the name of Zuby, Z-U-B-Y. His handle is at Zuby Music, Z-U-B-Y Music. He posted, the kids don't need fathers experiment isn't going very well, is it? I would have to agree. Then this comedian, I don't know who he is. It was just a fella standing there. He says, until women on a plane don't need help putting luggage into the overhead, biological men shouldn't compete in women's sports. What is it? What is it? I'm a strong, independent woman. Yes, but I can't lift my suitcase, even though it's a carry-on. I cannot lift it over my head. Anyway, whatever. Now, lest one believe that the Arabs have always been radical, they have not. Here is an Arabic proverb that I think fits the Democrat Party, the rhinos, Marxists, dictators, you know, everybody who wants to use and abuse. It goes like this. Until, unlike the stomach, the brain doesn't alert you when it's empty. Here's another empty brain. CNN just said that IRS employees feel bullied. Empty. Another empty thought from an empty brain. Biden flying plane loads of illegals into the country, no problem. Trump flying one plane load of foreign terrorists out of the country. Let's riot in the streets. It's illegal. He's doing wrong things. It's constitutional crisis. Meltdown. 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 MSNBC, CNN, ABC, a couple of folks on Fox, ABC, CBS, meltdowns all over the place. How dare they take away freedom of speech? Oh my gosh, if that isn't a fulfillment of the Arabic proverb of the brain not notifying when it's empty, I just don't know what it is. Now, let's get into something that I found quite interesting. Of course, you know, Doge has been finding all kinds of stuff. They just a few days ago found that the Small Business Administration. I got a story about Small Business Administration. I invented a software as a service to manage ownership, copyright information ownership, intellectual property ownership between parties in the music business before the music is released, as it is being produced or whatever. It works great. It is awesome. I couldn't get any advertising for it. Found out I was blacklisted, and that's a whole nother story. And since I don't have a lot of deep pockets and nobody would talk to me about funding, which by the way, I had it built, oversaw it, um, and it actually worked. And I still have all of that. So if anybody wants to purchase it, that's got the money and can move forward with this, because I know how it should be used, just get in touch with me. I will tell you where it should be used and how. And they wouldn't even talk to me. Of course, there's backstory to that. But before I knew that I had been blacklisted, I went to the Small Business Administration. I went to the technology hubs in Atlanta. I went to Georgia Tech. Everybody's like, nope, 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 not, nope, nope, nope. Wouldn't tell me why no, just no. So I finally went to the Small Business Administration. I thought, you know, maybe they could help me. It took me forever to get an appointment. I was giving up on getting an appointment. Finally got an appointment. I go in and I talk to this man who had he'd done a lot of things. He'd started businesses, he'd run them, he was successful, he was doing all this stuff. And so I go in, I think, well, maybe he'll tell me something that I haven't tried already. He was so far behind on technology, methodology. Every time he'd say, well, what I suggest is you do A, solution A. And I would go, you mean like da 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 da? He'd go, yeah. I said, yeah, been there, did that. Not working. Of course, now we know why a lot of these things weren't working for me is because of the blacklisting, but I'll just not say any more about it now. But I was there an hour and a half with him, and finally he just shook his head and he says, I don't know what to tell you. I said, well, do you know anybody who would know something else? He goes, no. So my opinion of the Small Business Administration as it has been currently run and run for years has not been good. Now I realize that it was actually a money laundering scheme. Kelly Loeffler, who is a Georgia businesswoman and born and raised a Georgia peach, uh, and ended up serving, was it the Senate or Congress, one or the other? I think it was the Senate. When somebody had to quit, she was named as a replacement. She is now, I believe she's the head of the Small Business Administration, and she's figuring out what's going on. Well, Doge identified, Doge, in case you're not familiar with Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, and that is Elon Musk has, as a consultant to the United States federal government, has a an artificial intelligence, if you want to call it that, program. I think it's Grok 3, and they feed the data into it and let the Grok parse it out and tell them what's this, 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 and this. And then they look at it and they go, huh, because it's so convoluted. Well, Grok got a hold of it, and Doge dug into it further. The Small Business Administration in 2020 and 2021 granted 5,600 loans equaling 312 million to children 11 years old and under. I'm letting that sink in. I'm silent here for a moment. 2020 and 2021 were at the height of the pandemic. There was a lot of trashy goings on at that time, and the Small Business Administration was right smack dab in the thick of it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Mama ain't happy about that. Mama is not happy about that at all. Hey, then guess what else? Doge found 14 magic money computers. It was in the, let's see, I think it was in the, somewhere in the treasury. These computers were just there. Uh, they, they would just write checks and send them out. Just write them and send them out. Nobody knows where it was going. Nobody knows what it was doing. But uh, let's see. Somebody said that the federal government, as we well know, does issue money out of thin air. They can, if they need a dollar, they will print a dollar and they will spend it. Households like mine and yours and everybody else's, we can't do that. If we need money and we don't have enough to pay the bills, we're cutting back on something, or we're already living under our budget, and then we will uh, be able to have the money to pay something that's needed. Not so the federal government. It was so egregious what they were doing. Well, there was 14 of these computers that just said, hey, we need the money, so here's an order to print some. Here's an order to send the money out to somebody else. Boom shakalaka. Um, I want a money tree. Magic computer would work, but a money tree would be better because at least there'd be real money on it. Okay, so let's get into the next section. Democrats, rhinos, deep staters, bureaucratic nonsense people. These people are all whining, moaning, groaning, marching in the streets, holding up signs, holding up paddles, holding up whatever that says, Trump is evil, Elon is evil, anybody who agrees with him is evil, anybody who bought one of Elon's cars is evil now because Elon is now evil. These people do nothing but rebel. It doesn't matter. Look at Schumer, the continuing resolution. He was all against it when the first time it was presented some time back. He was all for it. He said it should be happening now, boom, shakalaka. And then the Republicans were all on board with it, and now suddenly, no, no, no. And he starts rebelling against it. Well, somebody, of course, spoke in his ear and said, if you don't let this pass, they're going to be able to find even more fraud and waste. No, dear. So he says, let's let it pass. But these people are all rebels. Rebels. And there was a time when it seemed like they were a rebel with a cause. But just like James Dean, who was rebelling against everything in that movie, was it Rebel Without a Cause? Was that what it was called? Well, if I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me. They have no reason to rebel except to protect their fraud, not even their waste. Waste, that's just bad processes that haven't been updated, or good processes that were good at one time, but they haven't been updated to go with the amount of data that they're having to deal with, the amount of taxpayers they're having to deal with. These waste, you can kind of sort of see. Nobody's marching against waste. They are marching, though. Now, they may be saying they're marching against Doge for them trying to find waste. That's not waste. We're doing our job right. No, what they mean is, oh my God, they're going to find my fraud. The fraud. Where my relatives are getting money, I'm getting money. This what do you call the guys? Dictators in other countries, terrorists in other countries are getting money, and I'm taking my cut. Oh my God, they're going to find that. Yeah, well, it's about time it got found. So these rebels, they're rebelling all for themselves, to protect themselves from being shown up to be criminals. They're criminals. Criminals at best. Traitors is what they are. They don't care. They don't care. That includes the social justice warriors, That includes the Black Lives Matters, the anybody that pushes an agenda that divides people instead of bringing them together. All they know how to do is rebel, and that is it. So the party of the party of peace is attacking Tesla owners and burning Tesla cars. Now, somebody said, well, so much for these leftists being environmentally friendly and caring about that. But you know what's even funnier? They're stupid. A lot of these people are stupid. How do we know that? Is this just Angela's opinion? No, I don't think so. There is video, high definition video of people thinking they're keying a Tesla because it says EV on it, or they know it's an electric vehicle, and all they know is Elon bad, Tesla bad, electric vehicle bad. They don't realize that they're keying other manufacturers' vehicles. See, it's not my opinion they're stupid. And then they go and they burn those charging stations. They don't really care about the climate. They really don't. What they care about is common sense, good people changing the way they can live their life. They can't do it. They don't know what they're doing. They're so lost now. And they're lost because they want what they want. And how dare you stop them from getting it? Well, you know what? I don't care what they want. If they want something, okay, they can have it. But they can't dip into my pocket, my pocketbook, my wallet to purchase what they want. So suck it up, boys and girls, and stop your whining. But are they? No. I have said for a long time that everybody's like, yay, Trump won. And it's a good thing that he won. I do believe that that was a something that was orchestrated by God to serve his purposes. But but I knew a lot of people that thought, well, once Trump wins, boom, all our problems are over. And I said, nah, no, 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 they will just be beginning. And what have we seen? We've seen them fighting, playing dirty, lying. They don't even care that they're being caught in a lie. They just hope somebody will believe it and will scream on their behalf. Case in point, in New Jersey, parents are demanding answers after an elementary school organized an outing for second graders. They said no parent, what's the word, chaperones. No parent chaperones allowed. Where was this field trip to? It was to a gender justice center. They haven't stopped. They haven't stopped screaming, hollering to get what they want, and they haven't stopped attacking your children and your grandchildren. Thank goodness my grandchildren are grown, and they haven't had any children yet, so I'm not having to worry about that so much, but I do worry about other people's. I do. And these, you know, people say, teachers, they're wonderful. You shouldn't. Yes, most teachers are wonderful. Most teachers, I know teachers who spend their own money out of their paycheck to buy materials for the class. And they do it because it's needed, and they can't get the funds from the school or from the Board of Education because while they've got a ton of money, they're busy funneling it into, oh yeah, field trips to gender justice centers and other such crapola. And it's just crap. But there are some teachers, and do not disregard what I'm saying here. There are some teachers who are flat out rabidly rebelling against anything good. What was just in the news? Wish I could remember where it was and where I heard it, but it was a 14-year-old girl who, and this just happened, even though Trump had said none of this should be happening anymore through an executive order. You know, just because an executive order is written doesn't mean that it has now going to just across the board be followed. 3 teachers in a school demanded that a 14-year-old girl stop complaining that there is a biological male pretending to be a girl in her class, her PE class, and was sharing the same dressing room. She complained about that. They told her, she says, look, I don't want to undress in front of this person. I don't want them undressing in front of me. 3 adult teachers 3 adults forced her to undress in front of that boy to change her clothes into her PE clothes. Now, that is wrong. Absolutely wrong. And that, I would not be surprised that that does not turn into a massive case. And I would not be surprised that those teachers could be criminally, well, they could be, if any one adult went into a group of children and forced any one of them to take their clothes off, isn't that called child molestation? Child abuse? I think it's illegal, isn't it? So, no, we still got nut jobs who are in teaching positions and in librarian positions and in principal positions. Not all of them. And you teachers out there who are not the nut jobs, okay? You need to be documenting this stuff. You need to be speaking up about it. An executive order is not going to solve local problems fast. Unless you're live and let live. I mean, if you're live and let live, then you're part of the problem. That's all there's to it. So, another thing I found online was a picture of Chelsea Clinton um, looking extremely righteously indignant. And somebody said, you know, Hillary, your mother, left 4 Americans to die in Benghazi. Did you see the movie 13 Hours? I've seen it several times. Makes me furious. I saw it, the first time I saw it, I went to a theater not far from me. Every seat in that place was packed. I got the last one. I got the last seat. I'm very particular about where I sit. I don't like people behind me, so I try to sit, I'm working on that. The PTSD does kick in. But I got the last seat in that place. And sitting beside me were 4, I would say they were probably between the ages of 16 and 20. They all knew each other. They were friends. They might have been brother and sister, cousins. I don't know. But there they were. This entire huge theater. It was a huge theater. Packed. I can't tell you how long it's been since I had seen a packed theater. And this movie, 13 Hours, started. And you could feel the air in that place getting chilly. And where people had been talking before the movie began, when it began, it was dead silence. And I looked around. These people. Now, what was interesting was the 4 people beside me, the 4 young folks beside me. I don't know that they knew that this was a real story. I don't know that they knew it. Because there was this one scene, I don't remember what it was, where they laughed. They thought it was funny, and they looked at each other, and I'm just looking at them like this. And they turned and looked at me, and I said, you know this is a real story, don't you? And they went. And from then on, there wasn't a giggle out of them. Reality is terrible. So, Chelsea, your mother left 4 Americans to die in Benghazi. Later, she deleted 33,000 emails on a private server, unsecured private server in her home. She destroyed it. She even ended up destroying it after she had received a subpoena to produce it. She she set up that Haiti or Haiti, as I hear some people say, Haiti, um, the Clinton Fund for Haiti. She stole all that money, billions of money. Was any of that used for your wedding, Chelsea? I don't know. Your wedding was what, $3, $4 million? My God. What kind of cake did you serve? Your mother sold Russia our uranium at a fire sale price. She lies every time her mouth is moving. Your mother is not a good person, Chelsea. Your father isn't either. Well, Bill isn't. I don't know if he's your bio dad or not. I just don't know for certain. But you're out there supporting their criminal activities. You want to talk about Trump degrading America? You have no grounds to talk like that unless you're all for crime. I think you are because you're benefiting from it. So you're like the mafioso's daughter. Well, that's not nice. Not nice. I don't know how old your kids are now, but are you raising them to be good little criminals like your mother and her husband did? Hmm? Now, to another thing, just to show you the Arab proverb is, about the empty brain and nothing's letting them know it's empty. You've seen the gray-headed character, the non-playing character heads. Can you see that? Yeah. Somebody put together this thing. Oh, yeah, and the other part was the, this is the reply. So the non-playing character, the NPC, says, women make 75 cents for every dollar a man makes because of the wage gap. The little frog with the cigar says, what is a woman? The NPC says, anyone who identifies as one. The little froggy says, well, stop identifying as a woman and you'll get paid more. I love this common sense stuff. It's awesome. I wish I could think of all these things, but I do recognize awesomeness when I see it. Alan Dershowitz opined about, everybody's all mad at Amy Coney Barrett because she didn't uh, rule the way they wanted her to. But I've said this before in another podcast that Amy Justice Barrett, if you want to say her, is it Justice Coney Barrett? I don't know how she says it. I think it's Justice Barrett. She is a strict constitutionalist. So everything that she rules on, she does rule on it from a constitutional standpoint. Now, granted, I disagree with how she ruled, but it could very well be that she and the other four who ruled against the administration on a particular point could be that it was the question that was asked, and she went strictly by the question that was asked to be resolved. So Trump's not mad at her, although they want everybody to think he is. And he understands that everybody's going to have a different opinion. He's going to understand that not everybody's going to be in lockstep with him, as they should not be. He could be wrong. The Donald could be wrong. Or he could just not understand the situation for some reason. You know, as brilliant as he is, he doesn't know everything. And I should know because I'm the most brilliant woman in the world and I don't know everything. That's a whole nother story. But Alan Dershowitz pretty much agreed with me. See how brilliant I am? Look, don't go having a meltdown. Don't be like the left and have a meltdown. When one of the justices doesn't rule the way you think they should, stop hollering impeachment, impeachment of all these judges who are idiots. You know, most judges, are pretty good. But again, they don't know all things. There's a reason most of them aren't on the Supreme Court or at other higher levels. It's because, they handle what they can handle with the local stuff and the local laws uh, perfectly fine. But they have no other information about these bigger issues. So when they're asked to uh, rule upon something, they don't even know that they're not supposed to. That's how stupid some of them are. Yes, you can question a judge. Judges don't know everything. They do not, what's the word? Their word is not law. They are to opine upon the law as it fits a particular case and the evidence that's there. And when somebody goes and shops a judge, and judge shopping is a well-known tactic in criminal cases, and it's very sad. But when people shop a judge in these political matters, it can get pretty messy. So stop it. If you're a judge and you're out and you're watching this, stop with the stupid stuff. Of course, the Arab proverb. What was that proverb again? Unlike the stomach, the brain uh, does not give a hint when it's empty. Well, maybe this is your big hint. Pay attention to what you're doing. Somebody else posted that there are 7 places to stay silent at all cost. They call themselves the Stoic Nomad. I don't know what that means, but they're wrong on some of these things. I'm going to go over the 7 real quick. The first one was be silent if you don't know the full story. Well, I would say sure, most of the time. But there's times when you have to speak up when you don't know the whole story in order to get the whole story. That, I think, has been the problem of the American people. The reason we're in the bad condition we're in now is because we go, well, we don't know the whole story. Maybe there's a good reason for it. And we just go on assuming that there is a good reason for something. We don't ask questions. We don't speak up. So his be silent if you don't know the full story, it is not 100% across the board all the time. Be silent when you feel too emotional. Well, I can agree with that one. But define too emotional. What does too emotional mean? 3, be silent in the heat of anger. That I can understand and get behind. There's been times when I sort of let, I can be a smart aleck. I can get very snarky very fast. So I've worked on trying not to be that. Now, number 4 is be silent if your words can offend a person. Okay, I totally disagree on this. Totally. And the reason is because, number 1, I can't read minds. Can you? Can you read minds? So how do you know who's going to be offended? We can't. We can't know this. So if we are to be silent if our words can offend a person, how do we know? Do we hand out pieces of paper with questions to answer and have them give them back to us so we know whether they're going to be offended by certain things? No. So I don't agree with this at all. I say let's all be big boys and girls. And if we don't like something somebody says, okay, we can talk about it or we can ignore it. But number 4, Mr. Stoic Nomad or Ms. Stoic Nomad, I don't know who put it together. Number 4 is totally not going to work. Number 5, be silent if your words can destroy a friendship. Totally disagree with that. This must be some kind of a Marxist that wrote this to try to get everybody to shut up because we're not being quiet like they want us to be. If your words can destroy a friendship, if the words that must be said will destroy a friendship, it wasn't a friendship to begin with. It was a convenient place to spend time. That's not a friendship. It's not a friendship. The next one, number 6, be silent if you can't talk without yelling. Why should I be silent if I can't talk without yelling? Why can't I just modulate my tone if I can't, so that I'm not yelling? Why must I be quiet? Why did you tell me to be quiet, Stoic Nomad? Number 7, be silent if your silence can save bonds. I'm assuming bonds of friendship. That's just number 5 written differently. That's number 4 written differently. That's number 3 written differently. No, it's not number 3. I don't like the Stoic Nomad. Their suggestions. It doesn't fit human nature at all. Let me tell you, my marriage lasted as long as it did because I was too silent. I learned what he didn't like to hear. And I just, okay, moving on. And if he got mad at me because I said something, I'll go, oh, okay, go away. Because, I didn't want to have an argument. I should have had an argument much earlier on. But then again, that's a whole nother story. I think I've gone into that in another video. Okay, let's get to some funny stuff. Some just real funny stuff, but not so funny. If you put a potato in the microwave and you push the pizza button, what comes out? It's not a pizza. Still a potato. Same way with gender. Choose your gender. Doesn't work. Let's see. We already covered this. Democrats are fuming that Trump deported foreign terrorists. Well, we covered that kind of, sort of. Can you imagine the people? Most of them are women. There's a few men, but most of them are empty-headed nut job women. And I are a woman, so I can say it. They're letting emotions ruin the country, the world, the cities in which they live. They would rather have terrorists living in their cities, in their states, in the country, than to get rid of them and everybody think highly of Trump. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I bet if you were to ask these MSNBC and CNN and other propaganda media talking heads, if they would allow these terrorists to live in their home, I bet they would find a way to say no. But they don't mind them coming into your home, do they? Do they? No, they don't. So we got this Mahmoud Khalil. He's not a bad looking fella, and in certain shots he looks almost sexy. And they're like, oh, Mahmoud Khalil. How dare you get rid of him? He has freedom of speech. Yeah, well, while he's fomenting war by shouting death to America, which means also death to Americans, unless they go along with him, which in order to go along with him means they have to wear those coverings, that, and they have to be able to be willing to be raped or married off at 10 and 11 to older men, very much older men. So these women, and some of the men, and some are men, who are wanting Mahmoud Khalil and Trendy Aragua, MS-13, the drug cartels. How dare you? Pushed him out of the country. You know what? They would not like the country if these people were running it. They would not be allowed to be on the air. You women. And the men and the women. If you're homosexual, lesbian, gay, whatever you want to call it, trans, you'd be dead. DRT. Dead right there. And they would have fun throwing you off a building. They would have fun beheading you. Idiots. And there's no accounting for stupid, is there? Okay, last thought. Rand Paul said, you need to remember this. Rand Paul said, we should never forget the Constitution wasn't written to restrain citizens' behavior. It was written to restrain the government's behavior. Are you aware of that? Yeah? No? The framers, those who wrote the Constitution and all of that, they were very well aware of what monarchies do. And a monarchy could be, monarchies often are not very good. They're like terrorists. Whatever they want goes. They knew it was government out of control, rulership out of control. So they tried to form a more perfect union with the citizens being able to hold the government accountable, not the government holding citizens accountable. Need to think about that. Well, as usual, let me know what you think in the comments below. Share this, please. Algorithms, I hate it that I have to be beholden to algorithms, but the more things are shared, the more things are liked, that sort of thing. Well, the algorithms go, hey, people like her. Let's show it up in the feed that we send out. I can't afford to buy to be in the feed all the time, though. You can pay Google on YouTube. I should say you can pay YouTube to be able to promote something. So every now and then I will promote a particular video, and I can afford that sort of thing. But money doesn't come your way just because you got good stuff to say. And I am new to this podcasting thing, though I am not new to forming an opinion and proceeding to discuss it, or write about it, I should say. I do enjoy discussing. Well, listen, if you're watching this video and you think you have something to say and you want to have a conversation, we can do it. We can film it right here online. Just send me an email. I'm sure you can find me somehow or another. But, okay, I'll give you my email right now. Angela Durden, my first name, my last name, at msn.com. That's what it is. Well, listen, y'all, it's been fun. Be sure and like it. Be sure and share it. Be sure and, subscribe. That would be awesome. There's free subscriptions. If you're on YouTube, they're always free, unless I think you can donate. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. If you're on Rumble, subscribe. That'll be great. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. And there's free subscriptions there, of course. But if you like it, you might want to pay a little something. Mama would like it. She does like her coffee. Bye.
She treats you right. She's surprised.